Welcome Taurus, October 2017, Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. Here's your chart again. We started with sun sign of Taurus. So when you were born, the sun was in this location, and we're just juxtaposing all the planets around it to see exactly what's happening to you during the month. And there seems to be a strong focus for you here in the 6th house of work, health, disease. Sun and Mercury just having moved into this area, with Jupiter here still there after 1 year, but an important transit later in the month when Jupiter transits out, around the, not too much later, around the 10th of the month it moves into Scorpio. So a lot of focus here, a lot of tidying up of different things. That may happen rather suddenly, abruptly, as evidenced by this opposition here. Very powerful opposition. And here we also see the opposition. Well, it's not really an opposition because I guess this is the ascendant for the time, but Pluto in your 9th house still slowly edging its way through the zone of higher learning. With the moon starting its transit here in the 10th house of profession as well, receiving also beneficial aspects from these two planets, we see the nice ease and comfort and enthusiasm that you have. That enthusiasm will only grow throughout the month as we see the positions of Mercury and Sun move closer and closer here to Jupiter. The important full moon takes place here around the 6th and 7th, if I'm not mistaken. There it is there. Swings back in here to your 12th house, which is the hidden house, shining a light here on your spirituality. If you're into meditation, yoga and self-improvement, this is not going to be particularly easy. Why? Because if you just go around a little further here on the 7th, you may start off okay, but as moon comes into this vicinity of Uranus, there can be a little bit of instability, a little bit of dispersion of your energies and focus. So you need to keep more focus here, and especially because you see these opposite your planets here in the career sector, the 6th house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the challenges here as well to Pluto. Now, they may be challenges. This could be frenetic energy, or if you're focused, you may have brilliant new ideas or methodologies for deepening your awareness and your spirituality. And here, using your willpower, rather than it being well, it'll be a challenge, but rather than it being a negative, you can use this as a positive. Mind you, this area also has to do with work. 6th house is work, but also health and disease and death. And here, the 12th house, where we see this full moon, is also health issues, confinement, hospitals, medical procedures, and expenses. So we see that there may be some costs incurred around this time for you as the month proceeds towards the end of the first week of October. Let's watch this moon move into a beautiful favourable aspect here from the 1st house to the 5th house. Look at Venus and Mars in your 5th house of love affairs around the 9th, well, probably around the 8th really. You'll start to feel this very strongly. Feelings of love, nostalgia, sentimentality, closeness, some eroticism. The eroticism is still a little constricted here with Saturn, and also you look at that right angle again. So whatever you're feeling here may be more on the emotional level, but acting upon that may not be easy. So for those of you that are single, looking to further your romantic opportunities, this combination around the 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th could give you good feelings, but you may not actually be able to translate that as physical. Maybe you've just got too much on here, as shown by these planets. I'm going to sort of 0.5 of a day. I want to go a little bit slower here, so I'm not getting ahead of myself. So here, the 2nd house of income, around the 9th and the 10th, good aspects there, which we see to your 10th house of career, 6th house. This is an easy aspect showing the opportunity for you to get your finances in order, contracts in order around the 12th. There's some opposition there to Pluto. You need to be careful that you don't overdo it. Look at that opposition aspect there on the 12th. At that time as well, take a look at that. Jupiter has just moved out of your 6th house. That's a detrimental house for you, Taurus. So having it move into your 7th house is really, really great. If you had those problems in the relationships that we mentioned earlier, this, for the next 12 months, it will transit this whole beautiful foreground area, 7th angular house, really uplifting your relationships. Often Jupiter in the 7th house is marriage, the beginning of new relationships, not just fly-by-night relationships. These are serious relationships, business partnerships, marital partnerships. Some astrologers in the East are of the opinion this also has to do with change, travel, movement. It is the ruler of the 8th house of sexuality. For some of you, it could firstly herald the end of a relationship, then a new relationship. Moon moves to the 4th house here, which is your family affairs. It does a square to Uranus. It upsets things a little bit there on the 14th, 15th. You've still got the stabilizing influence of Saturn, which means you can bring some control to the situation. But for how long? Look at Moon moving there into this conjunction of Mars in the 5th house. Impulse. This is also to do with children, maybe having issues associated with them. Arguments are often through a direct confrontation. But let's look what happens with the new moon just about here. Around the 19th, 20th, you have some... So apologies for the delay. There's a little bit of a glitch there. I was just about to mention this new moon around the 19th. Again, showing a whole new approach to your work, the methodologies you employ in work, and also your health, because health and work will be very much tied in. The ruling planet for Taurus, which is Venus, is also here in your 6th house and moves through this area towards the last week of the month. So it seems like this month is going to be all work, very little play. But here we see around the 23rd, when the Sun moves into your 7th house of relationships. This is excellent for negotiations. You see the Moon moving into the 8th house, shared resources, very solemn conjunction with Saturn. And I think you should be going in there, guns all blazing. Mars moving into the 6th also shows us your drive and your commitment to achieve something fantastic. Intensity here with Moon and Pluto at the same time. This is also an educational area of your horoscope, so you can extend yourself and get some new skill sets going at that time. And towards the last few days, we see the Moon moving through your 10th house again, career, and also next to the past karma point here, indicating something from your past coming up, maybe some opportunities from someone you knew before. And then finally finishing on the 30th, 31st, in this 11th house of social activity. Great month, great opportunities, some new things happening for you. And don't forget to find out more, visit astrology.com.au, and back here next month for more with me. Take care. Bye-bye for now.